Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to a new video on the channel. And today guys, we're going to be continuing our AFL 2022 3-game match reviews. In today's video, we've got Collingwood versus Gold Coast, Western Bulldogs versus Essendon, and Sydney versus Brisbane. 3 very important games, and 3 games that I defined as teams that may be close, not necessarily close, but close in ladder position at the time. Like we had 12 to 16. 12 versus 16, 4 versus 3rd, and I think it was 9 versus 14 or something like that. But they were kind of close, if you get what I mean. But anyway, not going to waste any time. Got Collingwood versus Gold Coast, Bulldogs versus Essendon, and Sydney versus Brisbane. We're going to be starting off with Collingwood versus Gold Coast, MCG, on the Sunday. So, the Pies continue their good start to the year, winning 17-13, 115 to 14-6, 90. So, the Suns, they did come to play in a very high-scoring match, but again, didn't do enough as the Pies get the job done. So, this game, the Pies had full control. The Suns, of course, came in and out at stages, and they got the first 2 goals of the game in a fast start, but the Pies managed to retain that in and kick consecutive goals up on this staircase to really take themselves above a 20-point lead and have a strong lead throughout the game. They had little mini staircases which in basically every quarter, which really just took them away from the opposition and just gave them a real gain in advantage and a real lead as well. So you can see there, big staircase, another decent staircase, and another decent staircase. So they did it in the first, second, and third term to get out to the big lead in the final term. Again, was relatively even, not a whole lot going on, and the Pies end up winning by 25 in the end, and they had a lead of about that for the entirety of the game, so it wasn't like it was something remarkable. The Suns, they did draw close as well. I think they came within 10 points at one stage in the third term, but the Pies just proved too good, and they're off to a good start. Jack Ginnivan, I tell you what, he's crazy. 36 disposals for Touk Miller, and the 2 goals for Touk Miller as well is fantastic. 4 goals for Levi Casbolt and Brody Mychek, 140 fantasy for Touk Miller, and the 8 tackles for Taylor Adams. We'll go and have a look at some player stats. We'll start off with the hitouts: 44 for Witts, only the 15 for Cameron, 6 for Troll, 2 for Begg. So hitouts heavily in favour of Gold Coast. 130 fantasy for Crisp, 113 for Pendlebury, Adams, and Anderson. All 3 players ending up on the same number. 107 for Cameron, Darcy Cameron. 103 for Witts, 95 for Casbolt. What a pickup he's been as well. 4 goals, 4 for Casbolt. That could have easily been 6. 4 for Mychek, 3 goals for Ginnivan. I tell you what, amazing play. 3 goals for Troll, another brilliant pickup. 2 goals for the following: Cameron, Dacos, Josh Dacos. That'll be Holman, Ainsworth, Miller. So there was plenty of players that got in with the goals as well in a very high-scoring game. Now, 30 disposal for Touk Miller, 32 for Norrie Anderson, 30 for Lipinski. What a pickup he's been as well. 28 for Crisp, 26 for Ellis. And now we go to the mark section. 9 for Side, bottom 8 for Crisp and Adams and Casbolt and Lukosius. Now go to tackles, 7 for Brown. That'll be Tyler Brown, I believe. And now we are going to head off to the team stats. So disposals, kicks, handballs, all in favour of the Pies, inside 50s as well. Free kicks in favour of the Pies, but hitouts in favour of the Suns heavily. And clearances were relatively even, except for centre in favour of Gold Coast by +6. And then you can see marks inside 50 were actually Suns had. It was quite relatively even as well. Time in front, the Pies led for the majority of the contest. Suns' biggest lead was 12. The biggest lead for the Pies was 33. So it never really got out of hand for Gold Coast, but they were always there. Again, just didn't really pounce. They did make a move in the third term, but again, the Pies, they just managed to find a way to keep a convincing lead the entirety of the game and seal up a nice win. So now to the second Sunday game between the Western Bulldogs and the Essendon Bombers. Western Bulldogs 16-7, 103 defeat the Bombers 10-11, 71. Not great for the Bombers right now, and they are out of luck at the moment. And the Bulldogs, well, they've got a heavyweight clash versus the Power on Friday night. Meanwhile, the Bombers have a big clash up against the Hawks next week. 2 very big games for 2 very big clubs. And the Bombers, they hung in this game. They were always in this game, especially for the first half. I feel like they were never out of it. They played a pretty decent first quarter. 3-1 19-15 in the first quarter. So the Bombers were there. They stayed in the contest. Second quarter, the Dogs just slowly built out a lead. Third term is where they dominated, and final term is where they put on some finishing touches on the game. But yeah, the Bombers, they're not going well right now. They still have just got the one win for the year coming up against Crows. And yeah, they're not going well. They did compete in this contest for the first half, but I say second half, they didn't really do a lot. And they end up losing this by 32 points. So Peter Wright did kick 4 goals and Zach Merritt did get 36 exposed, but 133 fantasy for Josh Dunkley, who laid the 6 tackles. But again, it was a brilliant game for the Dogs, just showing their class after where they need to try and bounce back against a bad loss against the Crows. They need to bounce back in this game. That's exactly what they did, and they did it comfortably and confidently as well, which is what you know about the Western Bulldogs. And the clash versus the Power next Friday night is going to be really interesting and really exciting to see how they go. Brilliant battle coming up. The Bombers, they got the Hawks, as I said. Massive contest for them as well. They'll have to compete in that game as well. So the Bombers, they have competed in games, but they have had a hard start. But the game against the Hawks is pretty crucial, I'd say. They need to win one of their next few games, otherwise it'll be trouble for them. And yeah, the Dogs, they just stamped their dominance in this contest. As I said, 105 fantasy for Daniel, 103 for Redmond, 102 for Dale, 101 for Parrish, 100 for Smith. Goals behind, 4 goals for Wright, 3 for McNeil, 2 for Dunkley, Wallace and Waitman and McComb and Cutler. For that, 36 for Merritt, 32 for Daniel, 32 for Parrish, 29 for Dunkley and Redmond and Heppel. And then 28 for McRae and Dale. Plenty of players getting plenty of the footy marks. 9 for Richards, 8 for Ridley. Tackles, 6 for Dunkley, 5 for Gardner, McNeil, Bontempelli and Laverde. Hit-outs, 33 for Draper, 20 for Stephen Martin, 9 for Peter Wright, 5 for Zane Cordy, 2 for Baldwin, and just the 1 for Aaron Norton. We'll go and have a look at some team stats now. And inside 50s were dominated by the Dogs. They were just going in way more times than what the Bombers could do. And hence why they were getting way more shots on goal and way more chances to get a higher score. And that's why they won. So they were just a better team, Western Bulldogs. They had to bounce back. Time in front, look at that. They had to bounce back though. And they did. Their biggest lead was 50 points at one stage. And the Bombers, their biggest lead was 6. But yeah, biggest lead for the Dogs was 50. So they did stand their dominance. They got a good win. They got a very important win. They bounced back comfortably and confidently. So yes, you may still see the listen live sign down there. Yes, I am recording this game straight after the Swans game was done. I actually started it before this game ended. So that's why I was pretty keen to get this one done pretty quickly. Now, it's not going out the night this game ended. Apologies on that, but I did just get it ready to record it. But yeah, the Swans 13-11-89 go down to the Lions 17-11-130. Now, I was quite surprised by this myself, actually. I thought that the Swans were going to get the win, and they didn't. They almost blew a chance, really, a crucial chance of a home win, and it wasn't a great performance by the Swans. They did trail most of this game. The Lions, this shows that they are the second best team in the competition. I mean, you could say Free were the second best team, so if you want to call them third. But this was a heavyweight battle and game of the round in my eyes. Obviously, margin and score-wise it wasn't, but battle-wise, where the teams were, it was definitely game of the round. And the Lions get the job done in what you could say is an upset win at the SCG for them. Now that you can see there, the Swans only had this little part here in front, and after that, never led for the contest. They really showed a sign of coming back in the third quarter after kicking I think it was about 5 goals consecutively to come back into the contest, and then the Lions just blew them out. It was the second quarter, though, where the Swans managed to serve up nothing, and the Lions got 6 goals in that second term to stamp their dominance. At the end of the third term, you can see there that they had another big stretch on the Swans, which was the game-changing moment. And then in the final term, little staircase there, and that is what was the finisher for them. And I did say in the last quarter, I reckon it'll be game over if the Lions can get a few goals quickly. And it did hover around that 20 points. The Swans could have come back to surge up and win. But again, the Lions were just too strong, and they are looking like a good team. They are shaping up as a good team. Buddy Franklin gets the 6 goals, 37 disposed for Lachie Neale, 142 fantasy for Lachie Neale, 9 tackles for Lachie Neale. So Lachie Neale doing a lot of work. But yeah, going back to the Lions, they just had places where they were just too good. Second quarter, end of the third quarter, and in the final term where they just stamped their dominance. But first quarter was even. It was a very even contest, and it looked like it was going to be low scoring, but it really ended up going out to 89 to 113, so we got big score in the end. 142 fantasy for Neil, as I said, 131 for Mills, 119 for Parker, 105 for Zorko, 104 for Warner, 100 for Franklin, and then 97 for Peter Laddams. Goals behind, 6 goals straight for Buddy Franklin. That's pretty good. And then next best were 3 goals for Rayner, 3 for Heaney, 3 for McStay, 3 for Cameron. We'll have a look at the disposals now. 37 for Neil, 33 for Parker, 30 for Nils, 28 for McCluggage. We'll have a look at the marks. 9 for Harris Andrews, 8 for Zorko and Rich tackles now. 9 for Neil, 8 for Warner, 7 for Mills. We'll have a look at the hitouts. 25 for Lambs, 24 for McInerney, 19 for Fort, 6 for Reid, 2 for McStay. We'll go and have a look at some team stats now. Disposals were locked, 355 apiece. Swans tend to use handball more than kick, however. So that could have been a reason why they lost as well, a potential reason. And nothing else really looking interesting just as of yet at the moment. The Lions led the entirety of the contest, and their biggest lead was 39 points as well. The Swans' biggest lead was 5. So I am using that a fair bit now, the biggest goal. But yes, now there we'll have a look. Is nothing else really caught my eyes, but what a game for the Lions. This was a really big contest. This was where they could really prove themselves that they can win away from home. And this was the performance that they needed. I just feel like they needed this one just a little bit, just to show they can win away from home and not just put all the dominance for Sydney. So I feel like that this was a really strong performance for the Lions, and this one is something that a lot of people will take a lot out of this game. And even though the Swans had promising moments as well, but it was just the Lions were the better team. So of course the last 3 games tend to be the longer ones, because we go back and have a look at round 7, what round 7 proved. So West Coast lost to Richmond by 109, 56 to 165. The Cats lost to the Dockers by 3, 66 to 69. The Giants got over the Crows 54 to 113. The Demons proved better over a fast finishing Hawks 91 to 81. The Saints and the Power clashed in a very unlikely low-scoring contest, 42-43. The Power getting the job done. 114 to 64. The Blues getting a convincing win at Marvel. 115 to 90. The Pies beating the Suns. 103-71. The Bulldogs dealing with the Bombers. And 89 to 113. The Lions getting over the Swans in a surprise win. A look ahead to round 8. Port Adelaide versus Western Bulldogs. Probably one of the biggest games of the round. Starts off the round. Double Friday nighters though. Fremantle versus North will clash in the West. Richmond versus Collingwood will be the first Saturday game. And at the same time, Sydney versus Gold Coast as well. Richmond-Collingwood though, that's going to be an exciting battle as well. And then GWS versus Geelong-Manuka. Big game for both these two clubs. Brisbane versus West Coast up at the Gabba. Again, Brisbane have played brilliantly. West Coast, they need a response. Essendon versus Hawthorn. Big game for the Bombers. Big game for the Hawks. Who will get the win? Melbourne versus St Kilda. Can St Kilda bounce back, or will Melbourne continue their dream starts of the year? Someone's going to have to beat them eventually. Will it be the Saints? Carlton, they need this win in Adelaide. Well, they need to bounce back at Marvel Stadium. Can they do so? I don't think so. I think the Blues will get the job done in this one. But Carlton versus Adelaide at Marvel Stadium closes out the round. So that is round 7 now, done and dusted all of a sudden, just like that. Brisbane now move up to second spot and are equal with Fremantle on points. The Swans go down to 5th. So that does hurt. That could be a real hurting blow. And they are now even on points with the Blues as well. I feel like the top 6 has potentially established themselves. But the Pies join the Cats on 16 points. The Tigers, the Dogs, the Hawks and the Crows all share 12. 8 is for the Power, the Suns and the Giants, and Bombers are on 4 points still, and so are the struggling Roos and Eagles. Look at the Eagles percentage, 55.3, and then the Roos 59.9. Not great percentages, and even 72.3 for the Bombers isn't too great either. But that is going to be it for today's video. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. See you guys in another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.